Whoa, we're not doing tinfoil hat time. Forgot to change the intro. Oh well, you guys can see the creepy intro as we run that. Let me fix it now. Gotta remember to change my intros back when I remember. There we are. Alright, there we are. Well, greetings and welcome back. We are doing a live chat today. I don't have anything specifically on my topic. It's been a crazy day. So I'll tell you about my crazy day, I guess. Yeah, Ricky, jump on in whenever you can. We got Ashton trying to get on, but the audio's not working well, and Mark's audio's not working well. So apparently doing Saturday night open chats may or may not work as well with the channel. So, but I don't know. We'll see. Hey, Pizza. Do you want on, Pizza? I'll just send you the link in Skype in case you want to jump on, Pizza. Right. Okay. So we are doing no, I might be competing with Big Daddy. Well, I don't know. I don't think Big Daddy's on. I don't think Big Daddy's on until like 10:30 on Saturday nights. Yeah. So he'll be on in about an hour and a half. I probably won't be on that long. I'm trying to, I want to jump off and get a bunch of other things done. I need to get my video out for tomorrow yet because I don't do that on Sundays. I'm not quite sure why okay, no, I do. My camera's doing there. Yeah, I am overexposed because I'm wearing a black sweatshirt and in the evening time. And so, oh, Daddy's on now? Really? Huh. That's fine. Oh, well, I didn't know. Didn't think they jumped on until like 10 o'clock. But anyway, this is an open chat. If you do want to jump on, go ahead and send the email with the contact form, switchedtolinux.com/contact. I will send you the Google Hangouts, and we'll kind of go from there. So, but if you do want to jump on, go ahead and do that. In the meantime, my day's just kind of been crazy because I got up and I was supposed to have a friend come over, and we're working on a manuscript, and he had to be delayed on getting some other stuff done, and so he didn't get over until a little bit later. And then by the time I was like, do I want to jump on early? And they're like, is there something I necessarily want to do? And so I said, well, I don't know, maybe I won't. Or I was like, yeah, I'll just do a live chat. So I did try and schedule it early enough, but it didn't actually happen to. I was basically working on finalizing a secondary manuscript. I'm actually hoping to put out 2 new books by the end of this year. And so I got the finishing touches on the one, and that's kind of what I had to spend about 3 or 4 hours doing today. What I needed to do is take all the individual chapters, wrap those into one big thing, and then watermark it so that I can print out a couple copies of that. So it's like 100 pages of stuff. Anyway, that's kind of what I've been up to today. With that being said, maybe some other things we can chat about that I'm not quite as knowledgeable about, just things in the news lately. One of those is there is a new exploit found on hyper-threaded processors, specifically impacting Intel. Kitty, what's going on? Specifically impacting Intel processors. They suspect that it may also target AMD processors. It's another one. It's not quite the same as Spectre and Meltdown. Not the same as Spectre and Meltdown, but it is. It's considered similar in such ways. Not a lot known about it. The report was just issued. Just recently. So. With that being said, look for more information for that coming out. So it basically impacts anything that is hyper-threaded. So potentially my Ryzen 5. Whoops. Oh, well. But that being said, of course, the other one, in the big one in the news that I didn't cover on the news yesterday is the IBM and Red Hat deal. So the IBM Red Hat deal. That one there was IBM, of course, came down and for $34 billion in cash. I'd like to see the size of that suitcase. Bought Red Hat. And so Red Hat Enterprise Linux which is kind of the core early part of like Fedora is the open source arm of that. CentOS is another one. So those two distributions could potentially be affected. But also, you know, what type of control does IBM want to have over these types of things? So that's kind of what's in the in the situation here. So I gotta figure out where my I gotta fix my comment thread here. Hold on. Okay, let me do that, and window. There we are. Just getting a comment thread up here. All right, let's see who we got here. So that's Cambion Sciences, of course, talked about Red Hat merging with IBM. It wasn't a merger. It was a hostile takeover. It was like, here, take a bunch of cash. Give us your business. Ah, get out of here. It's all cash, 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 mine, mine, mine. That's kind of what happened. It was a back-end deal. Let's see. Okay, RPM distros, unless Fedora goes independent. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much impact this is going to have on the Linux community. I have no idea. I have not a clue, and it's anybody's guess. Obviously, there's some things that certainly would be impacted. Obviously, Red Hat, CentOS, maybe servers, a bunch of things like that. But then there's other things that I don't know. So I don't know. Listen to people who know more about what's going on in the world than I do to determine if that's actually something that is actually going to impact us in the Linux community. The Great Drake, hello there. OpenSUSE does their own thing and should adapt just fine. Yep. Let's see. IBM very well may choose to allow Fedora to act as an independent company under IBM. Yeah, that's a possibility as well. Don't freak out if you're on Fedora, Aurora, or some other RPM distro. Yeah, I wouldn't freak out at this point in time. I mean, this is the power and the beauty of Linux. If something goes haywire and awry, just move to something else. Now, of course, I'm speaking from us as desktop users, not necessarily as server or enterprise or things like that, in which case, yeah, you're kind of stuck. So that's kind of that. All right, let's see. Okay. Let's see who's on. We got Snap, we got Richard Addison. Richard Addison's getting addicted to YouTube. Everybody, let's get. Is it YTA? Is it YTA? YouTube Anonymous? Is there such a group? Is there such a thing? I don't know. That'd be interesting to see. All right. Been prepping my Mint install for 54th time. Maybe just in my mind. All right. Okay. It's just I can find. Let's see. Mint is so easy that I installed it in a first try and never borked it. Yeah, Mint, Linux Mint, particularly the one based on Ubuntu, is a really good distro. It's rock stable. It works very well. Frankly, it's probably the best Linux distro as far as for simple, easy, noob to get started on Linux and to get up and running quick. I would say that's it. Linux Mint Debian Edition, I'd probably, if you're new to Linux, I'd probably not work on that one right away. That's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, Fedora's always been a testing ground for Red Hat server products. Yep. I'd hope they retain that value. Let me see if anybody else has sent me an email. I'm not sitting on my emails over here. Get messages. All right. Okay. Okay. Right. Let's see. Kubuntu is the one I know best. No Ubuntu and it's DE. Yeah, somebody's talking about Kubuntu as being a little bit more buggy. I'm not completely sure. I'm not sure I've run it on a full system. I like KDE. This is actually another thing, though, that came up is that in the latest Red Hat documentation, they are now depreciating KDE. So that means that probably we'll start to see KDE being dropped from things like Fedora, things like Red Hat, other of those RPM-based distros, we may see a drop in that. That kind of came out very, very silently in the middle of all this as they're favoring more of the GNOME feel, which I'm not sure why. Like, I don't know. Some people disagree, but a lot of people have a problem with how GNOME works as a functional desktop. I don't know. That's a thought there. Hello, Joe Johnson. Greetings. If KDE dies, I move to Cinnamon or whatnot now. Now I see why I have good choices. Yeah. I mean, hopefully, like, I don't think KDE is going to die. It's just not going to be as readily available on some distros. Sudo apt purge a number of packages and it's good to go. Hate ubiquity. All right. Okay, I had like 0 for 2 of people trying to jump on the live chat so far. So if you want to try and jump on the live chat, it's just Google Hangouts, but we've got that. I can see Ashton, I just can't hear him, and same with Mark. I could well, I couldn't see Mark. The camera was not be there, but yep. So we are on Google Hangouts. Send a link to just send me a link, an email with the contact form on my website. SwitchedtoLinux.com/contact, and if you want the stream key to jump on in, we need somebody to make sure it's not on my end, that nobody can get in. I don't know, maybe it is my end, I'm not sure. All right, Dolphin. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Dolphin. Dolphin, of course, is the main file manager in KDE. Not a big fan. I've tried everything, still can't speak. Yes. Sorry, Ashton. Yeah, we just gotta try it sometime, and hopefully we can get on to the next one. The thing for me, though, is that the open chats are kind of random when I have run out of other things. Like, you know, when I'm in the middle of 2 big manuscripts and spent the previous 3 days rebuilding entire servers, and I've run out of things to talk about right away. That's kind of where I'm at. Okay, who knows? I had the mic input all the way. Oh, 1984, and what's the other book? Oh, got it. Ready Player One. Gotcha. Cool. All right, so I can see Ashton. We just can't hear him, which is a bummer. Mitchell, how's it going there? Greetings from Phoenix. Hey, Mitchell, if you want to jump on the Hangouts, let me know. Okay. Yu-Gi-Oh will be on soon. Just finishing something up. All right, so Yu-Gi-Oh Master could jump on. Pizza is going to be rebuilding a distro, so he can't jump on. All right, hold on. Where's give me a second here. Oh yeah. Big Daddy does have me beat right now. Yeah, maybe. See, usually he jumps on at like 10:30, so I didn't plan on jumping on that late because I didn't want to compete with him. But that ends up being what I'm doing. All right. Yes, I am overexposed. Come here, kitty. All right. Okay. KO2610. Hello there, Kyrie Holmes. Greetings. Mom's in the room, or you would join. All right. Well, hi, Kyrie Holmes' mom. Greetings to you. Cat. Yes, there was a cat. All right. For those using XFCE, suggest the edit menu of Thunar under config custom actions. Delete ownership to root and ownership to user. These two will brick your computer. All right. Was Red Hat in the bidding war? I don't know. IBM. I'll be moving. Yeah, Joe's on MX, so he should be fine, I think. Coptism, you're up, Mike. What U stands for? I'm guessing, hold on, I'm just going to type in Google Translate and set English to English. There you go. All right. All right, so what's my stance on Linux Code of Conduct? I think it's stupid. In fact, this is my RMRF no preserve root contributor code of conduct. You can't get the exact language on this one, but you can get one very similar to this on shop.switchedtolinux.com. That is, this is my code of conduct sweatshirt here. So yeah, it's the problem is that it's too open-ended, and it has been traditionally used to blacklist people not based on anything. It's a code of conduct that is against meritocracy. And when we're talking about things that run our entire world, meritocracy is exactly what we need. I don't want to include somebody's code just because they feel left out somewhere. Okay, that does not lend itself to good things. I need somebody's code who's good code. And that's the thing, is that meritocracy, believe it or not, it's colorblind, race blind, gender blind, anything blind, alien blind, human blind, mammal blind, it's blind. Meritocracy says if you can do the work, you're in, period. And the code of conduct that the Linux kernel has adopted is it's against meritocracy, which is unfortunate. Fedora Linux is in this drive. I might end up switching it fully if it weren't for Fallout 76 in the code of conduct. All right. Okay. All right. So shirts and mugs and stuff says RMRF contributor code of conduct. Yep. Just binge geography now. There you go. Kyrie Holmes tried Linux Mint 19. Very cool. Linux Mint Debian Edition is just a proof concept. Yeah, it's good. There's a few bugs with it, but it is pretty good. We got a dank memer on. Wait a minute, it isn't all about Linux Mint based on Debian, and so is Ubuntu based on Debian. Yes, Ubuntu is based on Debian. Linux Mint Debian Edition is also based on Debian, but Ubuntu is based on Debian, but has some extra things which make some components work better, and then Linux Mint is based on that, and so what ends up happening is you get, with the traditional Linux Mint 19, generally works a lot better with more modern computer functions than just the Linux Mint Debian Edition. It's just a reality. They're both good, but if you really need everything in the weird corners, particularly multimedia, to work, you're going to want to run Linux Mint 19 instead of Linux Mint Debian Edition. That's just a little thought. All right. How do you upgrade to 19 from 18.3? I'm guessing without reinstalling it. Okay. So the way you do that is in your updater, there will be an item in your menu, and let's see, where's it at? It might be in your preferences. There's actually a link that tells there is an upgrade guide that tells you where it is. It's in the update manager. It's a thing that you toggle, and that will enable you to, from the GUI, to upgrade from 18.3 to 19. Now, if your 18.3 is working perfectly fine, my recommendation is to stay on 18.3. It's just if you need some of the things, some of the more latest packages and stuff like that. Because the Ubuntu 18.04, which is what Linux Mint 19 is based on, has a few little quirks to it that I am intentionally not upgrading my systems out of 18.3 at the time being. And it is fully secure until 2023. So you are fine to keep using it for quite a while. Okay, Pizza Lovin' Nerd is done with KDE. Hello, Budgie and Mate. Budgie is pretty cool. I think Budgie's one of my favorites. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. War is peace. That's right. UK Beast, what'd you miss? I'm not sure when you jumped on. But if you want to jump on the stream, send me a contact. Send me a link from my contact form, switchedtolinux.com/contact, and I will get you a stream link if you want to jump on. Okay. Edward, how's it going there? Joe Johnson, 7 times 13 equals 28. Okay. UK Beast is back on the arch. Very good. Bite my vape. Your contrast is out of whack. Yes, and it is actually because I'm wearing a black sweatshirt. Webcams don't deal quite as well with the weird color contrast if you're wearing a black shirt. I found it's one of those weird quirks. In addition to that, I also have my non-standard lights on, which kind of gives a weird feeling. But it generally, this works better than my other streaming light works if I'm wearing a black shirt. Be nice to be on my own Linux distro. I tilt it back a little bit. I can't see it. There you go. But I'm not a high-level code wizard. Hey, you know, got to start somewhere. You wear your swag outside so people know what Linux is. Honestly, nobody's ever brought it up. I mean, I was at a coffee shop today for 3 hours. I was wearing this. I had my SwitchedtoLinux coffee cup, and I was running Peppermint. Nobody asked anything about it, but generally, that's the thing. Okay, already addressed my stance on code of conduct. Dell developers like to be paid, so look for more IBMs in the future. Okay. Should I dual boot Windows and Linux Mint on my new laptop, or just fully install Mint and then maybe use a VM for Windows? It depends on what you need and what you bought the thing for. If you bought the system entirely to, just run Linux and you might occasionally need a Windows thing, then yeah, I'd probably just run Windows in a virtual machine. If you need Windows more frequently than that, then for sure dual boot it. And running Linux Mint next to Windows generally doesn't cause any problems. Okay. Depends on how many Windows programs you really need. Yes. Heard some good things about with BSD these days. I think Budgie is both GNOME done right and Cinnamon done right. Yeah, I still like Cinnamon a little bit better, but yeah, GNOME is probably my second or third favorite. KDE's up there for my favorites as well. Yeah, Windows, if it updates, could destroy a dual boot. It's something you gotta be careful of. All right, Louis Rossman's new cat. Oh, I didn't see Louis Rossman's new cat. Well. If you have Windows and Linux on 2 separate hard drives, Windows can't and won't touch a Linux install. Yes. And the thing, though, is he said it's a laptop, and very few laptops can support 2 hard drives. Some of them can, but it's not most common. Hello, Caustic. How's it going there? Greetings, Noah. How are you? Can't stand Ubuntu Mate anymore. Keeps screwing up on me. That's why I don't run Ubuntu Mate. I actually don't like it. Okay, sudo apt update and sudo apt dist upgrade. Yeah, you can do that too. You switch to Linux from what? Windows, of course. Realize your logo is supposed to be a switch. Yes. My logo is a switch. In fact, it is copied from the Font Awesome switch. Okay. Running Linux for almost a year. Hello, Analog. Greetings to you. Separate disk would be good if you want to use both Windows and Linux. Alright. Linux updates can also destroy dual boot. Yes. Any updates can destroy the dual boot. Pizza Loving Nerd likes Mate, but don't like Ubuntu Mate. Alright, that's fair enough. Yeah, and that's... I don't know. It's like I haven't necessarily had horrible experiences with Mate, but I haven't had necessarily good experiences with it either. It's just kind of, it's neutral to me. It's like, okay, I'll run Mate. I'm not excited about it, but I'm not hateful of it either. That's the thing. I don't know. So that's my thoughts on that. We're running low in comments. We got a lot of folks on right now, but no one's chatting. Someone say something or jump on the call or something like that. I don't know. All right. Let me jump over here real quick, and let me go ahead and pull up a website if I can. Do I actually have a article view that I can... I can do that, I guess. Okay, let's see. So use Windows for a server that my friend and me has set up, but hope that Steam will get better with Proton. I've heard that Steam is good with Proton, and I don't know. I think that that's hopefully going to drive more people into the Linux world. I would hope, but I mean, never know. There's some people that just have to keep it on for other stuff as well. So, yeah, that's the sad reality of it all. Okay, listening while I play Warfare. All right, or Warframe. Okay, I'm a job running on my 2200 APU computer with 419 kernel. Good. Scale from bad to worse. How bad idea is it to dual boot? I have one computer that does a true dual boot because it has a integrated SSD and it's a tiny laptop. But I think the last time I actually booted into Windows on it was 2016 maybe. So I could probably just wipe that whole thing off and it wouldn't really matter. I mean, quite honestly. The reason I don't like it is because now you have two operating systems sharing a master boot record, and maybe a Grub or, you know, Windows Boot Manager. And then if an update goes through and messes with that boot manager, then that can cause some goofiness. Like Windows does not like Linux. So if Windows pushes an update, sees Grub there, it'll overwrite Grub, give you Windows Boot Manager, and now your system can't log into Linux. If Linux does the upgrade and puts Grub on there, Grub has no problem running Windows, and so it ends up being a situation where you can still load Windows, you can still run Linux, no big deal. But there's always the chance that one of those is going to do something else with the partition. And Linux generally wouldn't mess with the Windows partition, but Windows might mess the Linux partition because it's blind to the partition. It sees the Linux partition and it says, this is unformatted space, let's do something with it. Because it can't see the ext4 format that most people are going to run Linux with if you're running it by default. There's, of course, some other file systems you can use, but that's the most common one. So I would say dual booting, I'd probably put it on maybe close to the end of don't do this unless you have to. Usually what I just do, like on this main computer here, I run an icy dock. Now, I don't have a Windows install on this, but I have multiple different Linux distros that'll run on this. My other computer, I have 2 hard drives internally, and I have 1 external hard drive. And then if the external's plugged in, it always boots on the external. If it's the internals, I think it boots Windows by default, but I haven't done that for a while. And then if I need Linux over there, I just spam F12 when I turn on the computer and boot off of the secondary hard drive. So that's kind of my case on that. Okay. Lenovo laptop removes Grub EFI after I use Windows 10 for some time. Really? That's interesting. Nothing wrong with a dual boot setup if you know what you're doing. Yes, if you know what you're doing, not a big deal. Okay. I have issues with Debian recognizing my mouse, KDB, and keyboard, I guess. A lot of stuff based on, really? Huh. So use Windows for Microsoft Office. This is not fully compatible with LibreOffice or WPS. Formatting differs so much. I have formatting sensitive work right now. Yeah, that's the unfortunate reality, but it might just be a thing. All right. 1804.1 has my first positive KDE experience. Okay. Very good. So I guess Kubuntu 1804.1 has had some improvements. Just don't mount your Linux drives in Windows, but you can mount your Windows drives in Linux just fine. Yeah, there is only Office, but if his work is so specific to Microsoft Office, he might be stuck with Microsoft Office, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, it's possible to run MS Office in Linux. The other thing that it's very possible to do, though, is if you're using Office 365. So if you had to, like, if I had some job where I absolutely had to have Microsoft Office, it would be Office 365. Cloud-based, I just do my stuff there. Of course, I write all my books on LibreOffice. Actually, the last book, since I started the manuscript, the one that I wrapped up the draft of it tonight, I started that actually 4 years ago when I was still running exclusively Windows. And so I wrapped it up on that computer, but then to do the formatting, I had to port everything over into the Linux computer where I have all my all the formatting where I'm going to actually create the interior design for the book. And so that's kind of what what's going on with that one there. So I need to figure out all of the ins and outs. I'm going to run a 5x18. The book is 60,000 words, so it's almost twice the size of my other ones. I'm going to run the same basic form factor, and I need to come up with the cover design of it, which I kind of have an idea what I want. So it's kind of it. Okay. Lags behind the updates. Just give each OS their own drive. Yep. And tell BIOS to tell what to boot. Yep. Deepin lets you install MS Office with a click of a button, I guess. I'm not sure if that's true. I ran Deepin for a while, and I don't think that's true. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Anybody else have any knowledge on that? Why can't you have two hard drives? The main board drive is Linux and the secondary Windows. Grub, the MBR can't be corrupted. Wait. Why can't you have two hard drives? Main drive is Linux, secondary is Windows. MBR can't be corrupted. I mean, I generally do, if it's a desktop, very easy to put two different hard drives in there. And then, of course, I use Grub on the one hard drive. I use MBR on the other hard drive. No big deal. And then just use BIOS to tell me which one to boot. You can just dual boot with two bootloaders on the SSDs. Pretty annoyed with Void Linux lately. Been having some issues with system time because it didn't initially set up with NTP. The time is a couple minutes fast. Ashton says 2 bootloaders. Why 2? Well, I run 2 bootloaders. Technically this computer runs 3 bootloaders. I put 1 bootloader per disk, 1 operating per disk with its own bootloader, and then BIOS tells me, I use BIOS to tell it which bootloader to load, and then that will go into the operating system. Of course, as Grub is updated, Grub can load any of them. So I could boot up Grub, and that'll tell me every disk that's in the computer. So I could technically do that and just use Grub to select the operating system I want, but I didn't bother. Okay. I think you can install MS Office through Wine. Well, yeah, but it doesn't generally have a good experience. Let's have a look at this. So if you go to winehq.org, I think it is. Let's have a look. All right, so here's winehq.org, and we will go to MS Office. Okay, so this is installers only. So that is, does the installer work? And you'll see that they range anywhere from silver to platinum, or garbage to platinum, I guess. And so depending on which version of Office you have, it may or may not be able to run through Wine. That's kind of it. We got a $20 super chat. Jeff Hope, thank you. Been watching your channel a few weeks now, and I appreciate all the info and opinions. Thank you, Jeff Hope. I appreciate it. And I will use that super chat to buy me some coffee, because I'm getting low. Actually, I'm good on coffee for next month. I'll use it for something good. Thank you for that, man. All right, and let me know if there's any other questions or anything. I'll attempt to answer them, or I'll give you an opinion and fumble through it. I don't know which. But yeah, so you can see that some versions of... Now, this is just the installer, though. I'm not sure if the application itself works. So let's try Word. What's up, Word? Microsoft Word. Again, everything from garbage up to platinum. So hey, if you got Word 95, I have an OEM copy of Word 95, yo. That should run platinum. Perfect. 97, platinum. 2000, we're getting a little out there. I have XP. I do have an XP. That runs gold. 2007 runs platinum. I have 2007. And then 2016, Word 5.5 for DOS runs like garbage. What is this nonsense? We have to have our Word 5.5 for DOS running perfect. What is up with this? Wine must suck. No, kidding. All right, but apparently, up to 2013, apparently they do work well on the latest wines. So, yeah, maybe this is an improvement. I need to come back through and do some more videos on wine, because apparently they've been making a ton of improvements on wine, I guess. Use mints for stability, but I plan on getting a new SSD for a gaming distro. Very good. Haven't had Windows mess with bootloader yet, though. Not Windows 7. So the setup NTP won't sync to the correct time. Tried looking through the void forums for the issue, but the forums have been down for a while. Most popular formats: doc, docx, ODT, RF, RTF, text, PDF, HTML, EPUB. I wish that there were actually good EPUB export tools. There are not. I've looked into them. All right. Recently copied text from a website, semi-accurate. LibreOffice couldn't handle it. Very slow pasting and saving. That is a downside of Linux, is copy pasting into GUIs, large blocks. So, like, for example, if you find a minified JavaScript or minified CSS file and try and paste that into Bluefish, it doesn't take it. You have to deminify them first, which is a very unfortunate thing. But yeah, so that is one of the limitations of Linux, is it doesn't handle large blocks of pasted text very well. Noah just finished a book June through August. Very good. Okay, what do you like? Okay, that's a question for somebody else. Okay. Death Mist. What's your experience on tiling Windows managers? For me, they have greatly increased my productivity. I really don't have a lot of experience with tiling window managers. That's like, I think, i3. It just doesn't match my general workflow. My workflow in developing and working on a lot of small pieces on large-scale projects just has me lots of windows. That's why I like the Windows-like interface, because everything is just kind of down there and just easy to access. I can read everything. It works for me. There's other things that would work, but that's kind of it. So I don't really have much on that. Sleepy Eyes Vince, greetings. I'll also let you guys know, if you guys want to jump on, I do have a Google Hangouts set up right now. If you do want to jump on, send me an email on my contact form, switchtolinux.com/contact. I will send you the Hangouts link. So if you do want to jump on and have a chat, we can certainly do that. Also, SoftMaker Office. Yeah, there's SoftMaker Office. Okay, what do you do when you get a kernel panic? I'm running Manjaro with no issues, but keep hearing that Manjaro suffers from sometimes. Hard reboot the computer. Not hard throw it against the wall, but I hold the power button in until it stops. Boot the thing back up. That's what you do. I actually had a kernel panic on Linux Mint today before I started the stream. We should get Budgie working on OpenSUSE. Huh, okay. An issue with 4.19, 4.18 works. I've heard that 4.19 is giving some people some problems. Decided to finally say goodbye to Windows 10, running elementary Juno full-time now. Very cool. Awesome. Too much hassle with Manjaro. Jeff Hope, once again, thanks for the super chat. Okay. What's he using? It's hard to set up your own. Is it hard to set up your own cloud synced ecosystem like Apple does? Calendars, emails, files. Hard to do. It's hard to do for a person not technically skilled. I'm gonna go with, yeah, it's a little hard. Like, if you're open to learning, and like I use Nextcloud, and the reality is Nextcloud has a lot of great things, but I was reading through a comment thread the other day, and it's like when Nextcloud goes bad, Nextcloud really goes bad. And then the challenge is you have a very difficult time getting it back up and running again, unless you just reset your VPS. And what I did, hey, Ricky, woohoo! Greetings! I have somebody to join me right now. How's it going, Ricky? I'm gonna...
Oh, doing good.
There we are. Now you're on, Ricky. I had the desktop muted in case anyone jumped on. So
okay.
how's it going?
How you doing?
Good. Let me find my split screen. There we go. Right.
I got this at the thrift store today.
What? Oh, it's a Dell. What kind of Dell?
Dell. It's a Dell Inspiron 2200. It's a very old XP laptop. The bad news about it, the screen is broken, but luckily I have an external monitor, so hopefully when the power supply comes from eBay to me, this thing will work.
Okay. By the way, the screen in those, let me open it up and let me see the screen.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Lift it up a little higher. Let me see the bottom of it. Okay, that screen's probably about a $50 part. It'll take you about 20 minutes to replace.
Okay.
Check out, I think View One Tech is where I bought screens from in the past.
Okay.
Okay. See if they still exist.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not really too much concerned about the screen since I have this external monitor. I'm going to be using the monitor most of the time.
Looks like View One Tech is closed down, so I'm not sure. So you'd want to check. I bought them. I've had great luck buying them on eBay as well. So you can go on eBay and get a screen, and then literally with the Dells, the bezels will just slide out. Unless it's a really old one, it might have a couple screws, but you just want to slide it out, pull off the front bezel. There should be 2 screws on the top, 2 screws on the bottom, one on either side. Pull that out, and then that's going to have some arms, and then there's probably 4 or 8 screws on each side in the arms. Pull those out, and then there's one attachment cable. So what you want to do is pull it out so you get the exact part number on the screen, and then use that, and then you can actually determine, like, you could probably get a glossy or a matte screen depending on which one you like. So unfortunately they're easy to repair.
All right. You can hear my mic okay, by the way, right?
Yeah, we can hear you. We are getting some feedback, so everything I say is echoing back through. So.
Okay, alright. Yeah, as I was saying, I'm not really too worried about the screen right now. I have this old Dell external monitor that I picked up a little while back. I'm going to be using the external monitor because it has better quality on. It's a VGA monitor.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Nice.
Because this thing, this is a very old laptop. I did a bit of research on it. Sadly, I could not determine what my storage size for the hard drive is because there's no information on the front of it of what number it is. But I did research on it. It's either a 30, a 40, or a 60 gig. It's one of the 3.
Okay.
And I checked the RAM. It looks like it only has 1 gig of RAM in it.
So you're going to run something super lightweight. I'd do like a Peppermint or an MX Linux or something on that. That'd be cool. There's a new version of Linux right out too.
I'm most likely going for Peppermint.
There you go. Yep. That's what I do my book editing in.
Yeah. It has a Intel Celeron M processor and it has Windows XP.
It's an oldie but goodie.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. So somebody was asking about Nextcloud, well, like cloud synced services and stuff. Yeah, it's a little complicated to set up if you're not technically skilled, but learn the time to do it. All right, what else is going on, Ricky?
Could you hang on just 1 minute, Tom? To get better quality, I'm gonna switch over to Chromium, okay? Because I'm on Firefox right now.
All right, sounds good. Okay, it'd be funny to run Word on Proton. There you go. Yep. Anyone else coming to hang out in the chat or no? I still can't talk. Yeah. Sorry, Snap. I don't know. Yeah, Ricky's gonna be right back. Yeah, he can't talk. You can see him. He's like a mime. Do the mime thing, man, because yeah, you can't. Nobody can hear you. Wordtron. We got a mime. We got a mime. All right, go paint your face white or something. Okay. Wine has been improving by keeping by leaps and bounds lately. All right. So wine has been improving by leaps and bounds. I have to look into it a little bit later. Okay, Jeff Hope. Let's see. Website tech guy here also. LAMP admin dev. I'm on board with privacy and Linux. Can't switch to Linux yet as I need Photoshop and a few other applications for clients. I hear ya. I still do some of my stuff on Photoshop and Windows 7. I do most of it actually on GIMP now, but it took me a while to figure out how to get everything running on GIMP. But now that I'm proficient on GIMP as well as Photoshop, I actually prefer GIMP more, believe it or not. Hey, greetings, Ricky. Welcome back.
Okay. Am I a little better now?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm not hearing feedback anymore either, which is good.
Okay.
Okay. I tried installing Arch, but gave up halfway through. You're still running Arch?
Yeah, I'm still running Arch. I'm most likely going to transition to another distro within, I would say, either January or February. I'm most likely going back to Manjaro.
Okay. Which distro environment or which DE?
I'm not sure which DE as of yet. What I may end up doing is I may go through and I may use OpenBox for a little while.
Okay, there you go. All right, so Vid Cirkman is new here. Well, hello and welcome. Everybody say hello to
Hello.
Vid. All right, which videos would you recommend I check out first? I don't know, man. What kind of things do you want to know about? I actually almost have 1,000 videos on this channel.
That's amazing.
I don't know. What are you looking for? Let us know the types of things you're looking to learn, and I'll point you towards the videos I can think of. Pizza says, do you think Microsoft opening its patents will help wine? I don't know. Okay. When I discuss privacy with others, some say if the CIA, NSI, or similar agencies want to know anything about they probably don't need help from Google, Facebook, and Microsoft. There is a ring of truth in that. Any ideas what you can say to them? Yeah, Ricky, what would you say to somebody? So you're going in there, you're talking about the importance of privacy, and then someone comes in and just says, if the CIA, NSA, FBI, whoever wants that information, they're going to get it anyway, so why bother? What do you say about that?
In my opinion, I mean, since I'm a privacy activist, I try to protect my information as best as I can. If they even want anything from me, then they are going to need 100% written consent from me if they want anything. Mm-hmm. It has to be written consent. It should not be, and I quote, it should not be any other types of consent in general. Written consent is the best way to go. Because with all these corporations out there, like, let me think, Microsoft, Facebook, Google. I'm not counting Mozilla into this. Yes, Mozilla Firefox puts a bad taste in people's mouth, but Mozilla Firefox, in my opinion, isn't the worst out of all the browsers that do data collection. I would say Mozilla is safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it has the capability to turn everything off if you know how, which is good.
Yeah.
What I would say to a person like that is, number one, is I'm not as concerned with the NSA, CIA, etc., as I probably should be. I'm more concerned with the stupid companies. And ultimately mostly because to that, giving the data to the companies that's more dangerous because it's more subtle. You don't realize that's going to come back on you. When the NSA is like, we want information, you're like, okay, now I've got to watch myself. When the company wants information, you're lax and you give them more information than you would give otherwise. And so what I would ultimately say is, yeah, if the NSA or CIA, etc., wants to get your information, they're going to get it. But that doesn't mean I should necessarily make it easy for them to get it by asking Microsoft for my data. They should have to come to me for that data, not Microsoft. And so that's what I would say to them. Yes. Do I have a resource list or video on my choice on everyday programs for Linux? Email clients, calendars, notes, or do you use OwnCloud, Nextcloud? Okay, so I use Nextcloud. I have my own self-installed Nextcloud. I want to do a few more tutorials on that down the road, and I should do them soon because I'm setting up a Nextcloud instance for somebody else, and I've had to rebuild a lot of the things I've done so far, so it's all fresh in my memory still. I should do those videos very soon. and other resources. So I have scattered, I think I have some information on how to use Thunderbird as a client. I don't have anything on calendars. Notes, on my phone, I actually use the Nextcloud. So a lot of the apps I use on my phone, which is all Lineage and not based on any, there's no Google services. I use my Nextcloud, which also contains my Nextcloud notes. And actually, that's what I do when I'm putting together my news articles for the week. I'll go through and I'll see the article, I'll paste in that notes, and that way I can access it from any of my computers. So I use those types of things all interfaced through Nextcloud. So all of the cloud stuff that I use is all done on my own end-to-end encrypted Nextcloud on my own server that I control. So that's what I do for those types of things. And I should do more how-tos on how to set that up. What I should do is go buy me another burner phone. You know what I'll do? I'll use that $20 and go buy me another burner phone so I can show you how to do it, even if you still have stock Android on a phone without being able to wipe your phone, because I realize most people can't wipe their phones and put a custom ROM on it. So how do you secure a phone best if you can't wipe it and put a custom ROM on? Maybe I should do a video series on that, how to build it up all with Nextcloud and things like that. So I don't know.
I'll say one thing. In my opinion, if there's one cloud service that anybody should trust, it would have to be Nextcloud. But there is one question that's on my mind, and I don't fully understand this type of concept yet. What do you know about Bitcoin? I've read some information on it. I get that it's a decentralized internet currency, but I just don't fully understand it too well. What do you know about it?
Precious little, actually. It's of course it's a blockchain currency. It is decentralized. It is not nearly as private as some people say it is. Because every transaction is publicly legible, all you have to do is figure out who actually contains that address book, which looks like a giant list of, a string of random characters, which it is, a random string of characters. But Bitcoin itself, though, it is not anonymous. If you want an anonymous one, you got to go with Monero. But as far as all of the other ins and outs, no, I really don't know all that much about it. Precious little is what I know. If you want to ask somebody who knows tech lore, knows quite a bit more about it than I do, and that's probably who I'd point you to.
Yeah, the one thing I know about Bitcoin that really scares me is it's commonly used in the dark web a lot.
Well, not as much anymore since Monero's been out. Because the idea is if you approach the internet from a privacy-first approach, Bitcoin can be anonymous, but it's not necessarily. All you have to do is decrypt whose wallet that is, and you can figure out who that person is. So it's kind of like using Tor and then logging into your Google account on Tor. It defeats the purpose. You don't do it. So as far as that's concerned, yeah, it's not something I've gotten into because part of it is I just don't have the time to know as much as I would want to know before getting into it. And B, it's highly volatile. So I'm not really all that into it, but I don't know, maybe there'll be a time. Runner actually says he actually uses LibreOffice on both Windows and Linux. Solves the problem of moving text from one to the other. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Tom, what is your full thoughts on IBM acquiring Red Hat?
I don't have full thoughts. I think it's going to certainly impact the server administration world where the Red Hat world lives. And for sure, there's a lot of Red Hat type technologies that bleed over into the non-world, but I don't really think it's going to cause as big of a ripple effect as some people may think.
Yeah.
Mostly because the way Linux is, once you start irritating enough people, they break off in their own group and go independent anyway. So I'm not all that caught up about it.
Yeah. The thing is, out of all the companies we have to deal with, I mean, IBM has really never hardly been a problem. I mean, the only thing they've been doing the last 40 years is mainly servers, and they make a computer here and there, but that's all they really do.
What IBM, though, that most people don't realize is that they do a lot in AI, which is a little scary. Like, there was the AI professor, which Basically, and nobody even knew. This was deployed at one of the tech universities. This thing was deployed as the professor's assistant. Nobody knew for the entire semester it was actually a robot. That was developed. I forget the name of it from IBM. But so IBM's still a big player. They're just a silent big player. That's kind of it.
Yeah, they're pretty much a sleeper right now. They're doing their own thing right now. You know, them acquiring Red Hat, and they're pretty much in the server department.
Yeah. Watson. That's Ashton knew what that was. So yes, yeah, and he says they're dormant. So okay, so Ashton says they're still forming for me. We can't really say anything until something happens. Then we can. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, I guess the opinions are still forming. Yeah, the opinions are still forming for me too. Whoa, lost my place in the comments. Okay. We have the same amount of people on this stream as we do on Big Daddy Linux on his stream. Yeah, that's not too uncommon. This stream is actually a pretty big stream too. So we're both good big streams. I should jump on his stream every now and again, but usually my Saturday nights is not a good time for me to be online. But yeah, made an exception today.
Yeah, we're pretty much really quickly approaching 2019. I'm really wondering what's going to happen with Linux in 2019. I mean, Linus has just come back from his break. I'm really interested to see what he actually does with it next. I would like to see him add more new features to it.
Joe Collins says this is going to be the month that we look back on and say this is when Linux has changed. And I don't know. That might be true. It might not be true. I'm not completely sure. Okay.
I know for one thing, we're pretty much approaching the possible announcement for when we hear about Peppermint 10. I mean, we're getting close to that.
Yeah, I still run Peppermint 7 because I love it and I don't see a need to change. The only application that I wanted updated is I wanted LibreOffice 6. Because, I mean, I do all, like, where should I do that demonstration? Talk, Ricky. I'm going to grab my other book. I'm going to show you guys why I use LibreOffice. Hold on.
Okay. So, everybody in the comments section, what do you think is going to be the best distro for 2019?
For me personally, I don't know. All right. So I want to get back to why I'm using LibreOffice. So when I wrote my first book, of course, I went with one of those publishing companies. It's like, we'll publish your book for you. And this is literally what I got. Let me, you're not going to be on the screen for a minute here. So this is what the thing looks like internally, right? So it's not bad, but it's boring. It's not particularly good, all right? Let me find something which has a couple verses in it. So here's the intro pages like this, okay? And then I got a cover that looked like this. Using LibreOffice, when I do my interior formatting, this is the same book, internal formatting. Okay, and it is way better. So let me grab a chapter opening. Multiple fonts, different types of integrating things in. Just so much better. Of course, what I couldn't get with the other company that I can do in LibreOffice is my sidebar columns in there. And so that's why I use LibreOffice is it allows me to take my manuscript and output this directly into the format I need to send out to the printer so that I can go ahead and get the books printed. And so, of course, you can do those on Microsoft Office too, but why Microsoft Office when I can do LibreOffice? And with that, free, open source, and available. And so I wanted LibreOffice 6 to get the latest technologies, and so that's what I'm running over there. But I can easily add that without changing the entire operating system, and Peppermint 7 is working perfectly for me. So.
I did see on DistroWorks recently that Linux Mint 19 just had I think it had an update, didn't it?
I don't remember seeing anything on DistroWatch. It might have the 19.1 might be out or might be
19,
coming out soon.
yeah.
I didn't follow it much.
There's
But...
I did a video a few days ago showcasing the changes that are coming to Linux Mint. They're going to be changing the interface a little bit.
Okay. How so?
It's going to be a little modernized.
Oh joy. As long as I have the ability to keep it exactly the way I have it, because I use Linux Mint because that's exactly the way I want it.
Well, here's the good news. This is from the Linux Mint team themselves. They said if you don't like the new look, you can switch it back by a press of a button.
Beautiful. And that's why I like the Linux Mint team. Mm-hmm. So Pizza says he just set up his first lamp stack. Any advice? Yes, install and enable secmod.
Oh, looks like from my question earlier, it looks like we got some people saying what they think their best distros for 2019 is. We got one for Linux Lite, Fedora, Linux Mint, and Cinnamon.
Yep.
Gentoo, Arch. I will say, though, in my opinion, it would have to be Cinnamon, because Cinnamon is just so good. The thing about Cinnamon, it has access... Basically, out of every Linux distro you can think of, Cinnamon has more compatibility with hardware than any other distro.
Well, not only that, but it's also just as modern. Like, if you happen to use online accounts, I realize this. I can plug this system into Nextcloud, and it will sync contacts, calendars, files, folders, all through the interface. That's modern desktop features. And it gives me the exact layout that I want. I can add desktop widgets. I can do a lot of other modifications to it. Cinnamon for me is perfect. And it's fast and snappy. It's fast. That's why I like it.
Another thing I would like to see happen to Linux Mint, though, is I would like to see KDE become an official flavor of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but they dropped it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, here's a fun question. Pizza Loving Nerd asks, do you think young people should be able to opt out of COPPA? Of course, for those in the unaware, COPPA is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. It basically dictates that a company may not collect any data from anybody under the age of 13 without parental consent. So he says, should they be able to opt out of it? Because before I turned 13, it limited what it could do on the internet. What's your thoughts, Ricky?
I totally agree with you 100%. I think that's indeed what should happen.
I think no, because not all 13-year-olds and under are understanding. The parents should be able to opt the kid out of it for sure, but the kid himself should not. But and it raises the issue, like, you know, and Pizza is a very, very mature young man. Not everyone is that mature, and it's like the same reason we don't want kids getting tattoos and piercings and things under 18 without parental consent, because you don't know what you're going to do. And I've always told kids that I mentored, if you want to get tattoos and things, you know, wait until you're like 23, 24 years old, so you kind of have an idea what you're going to be doing, because you don't want to cover yourself in tattoos and then realize, I want to go into business. Because you're actually not going to be as good of a business person. Because most places, like, there's, whether we like it or not, there is some degree of prejudice if you encounter somebody who's covered head to toe in tattoos. That might be a good thing, might be a bad thing, might be a neutral thing, but it's a reality. And so a lot of businesses, they either wouldn't hire you in that, or they'd pick another candidate over that, or you'd have to find yourself in the dead heat of summer wearing long sleeve shirts to cover it all. And so it's like, it'd been much better if you waited until you kind of figured out what you want to do. Like, if you want to be a tattoo artist, man, you better be covered head to toe in tattoos. I mean, come on, no big deal. But we have to have a better understanding of what you want to do before you get tattoos that are hard to cover. That's just one example. So you may not recognize the dangers of this online data collection when you're not, 11 or 12 or 13. And so we would hope that the parents would care, but it's a reality that we're seeing. Every major tech company is eroding COPPA away anyway, so what's it matter? I mean, Facebook Messenger for kids, that's, yeah, that's parents opting out of COPPA for their own kids. Apparently only Europe is to lag 30 seconds. Guy chatting on this 1 or 2 seconds, yeah. Well, also I'm chatting with Ricky, and we're on a direct connection that's not over the stream. So ours is instantaneous usually. 32-bit machine in 2018. This could be problematic. Debian, I think, can support 32. Peppermint can. Linux Mint can still support 32.
There's a couple distros that still support 32-bit processor. I mean, 32-bit processors are still very reliable. If you can't really afford a 64-bit processor machine, a 32-bit will do just as good.
Yeah, just realize they're limited on RAM. I think the 32 bits are limited to 3 gigs, I think.
Yeah.
What Linux distro would you recommend on really crappy AMD laptop that keeps overheating with Windows?
Oh.
I'd open the thing up and make sure there's not a bunch of hair and dust in the cooling fan.
Yeah. I agree with him. I would say clean the thing out first before you think of putting a distro in there.
Yeah. Let's assume that the fan is clean. I mean, I don't know. Peppermint. I think we'd probably agree with Peppermint.
Yeah, I would say for 32-bit computers in general, I say Peppermint's your best option. I mean, it would be possible to put Arch on it if Arch had 32-bit support, but it sadly doesn't. I think it used to, but it doesn't anymore. In fact, if you think about it, Tom, a whole bunch of distros have literally just ousted 32-bit support.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ubuntu used to have it, but then they dropped it.
Yeah. Pizza 11 Nerd says GIMP is superior to Photoshop. There you go.
Oh, what's this? Benjamin Eldridge says there are community editions of Arch and Manjaro that are maintaining their 32-bit Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
At least they're doing that.
Alright. Love Kdenlive more than anything else used on Windows. I have 8 video editing programs on the Windows side. Wow. Yeah, I like Kdenlive. Kdenlive rocks. And, you know, you just got to get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
What is he talking about? That doesn't answer the question. What is the question? Okay. You got the Brave and Vivaldi. That's good on privacy. Have you tried Midori browser? I've not tried it for a while. Have you done Midori?
I have, and I did not like it. It just didn't work for me.
Quint's asking for a link. Yes, Quint, I'm going to send you the link. All right, Quint just sent you the link. Thoughts on Auto Browser? I've never heard of Auto Browser. Have you heard of Auto Browser?
No, I have not.
Never heard of Auto Browser over here. Video capture's not picking up in Windows. All right. Trying a couple drivers from the manufacturer sites. Later, Noah. Interesting article on university switching to open source. Oh, we so have to switch that. We need to cover that. We need to talk about that in detail. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can get that link coming up. Okay. I want to look at that article. Okay, so here's an article we will have a look at. Where's my article view? Article view. There we are. There's our article view. Okay. So Says the complete history of Paris 8 University going for Krita, Blender, Natron. I've not heard of Natron, but wow, we need this. We need this so bad. Particularly since AutoCAD, who run as Autodesk, not AutoCAD, Autodesk, who makes AutoCAD, and 3ds Max. So 3ds Max is what you use for 3ds Max is what you use for the video game editing and things. Well, they moved to a model where that now would cost a small game developer, where you have to spend a few years before a game gets out there, $185 per month to use that software. You can buy it for a couple thousand a year, And the problem now is that you go off to school, you go off to video game design in college, and then you have to pay all of this money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, then all to get out and have software. You could go work for a big company who, of course, would pay your licensing fee, but then you end up with a case where they can't afford the software to actually do their job. Because, of course, it's not just that. You also have Unreal. You have your whole Adobe suite. You have all of the things that go into making the video games. You can't afford that. And so it's like all of these excellent tools are out there. Why in the world are we still utilizing the corporate run things? And so for those that aren't aware of Blender, I'll go ahead and I'm going to take me a minute to boot up a file here. I'll show you what you can do on Blender. In the meantime, hello, Quint. Greetings.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I was at a school dance. That's why I couldn't make it.
Fun?
Oh, nice. Did you have a good time?
Yes, I did.
Good.
Very good. Very
That's
cool.
also why I'm dressed like this, too.
You're always dressed nice, though, so it's all good. Okay.
Kyrie Holmes says Ubuntu still has 32 bits for Ubuntu Mini ISO builds.
Oh, Tom?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to tell you this, that when I pulled up YouTube to view the stream just a few minutes ago, I got Firefox came up with a recommendation thing recommending me to install an extension for YouTube, some sort of like YouTube extension.
Oh, that's exciting.
And, yeah, there was a little thing in the address bar that said puzzle. It was a little puzzle piece icon in the address bar, and it said recommendation, and it was some sort of YouTube extension thing. I don't know what it was.
Exciting. All right, so I have too many windows over my windows. All right, so for those guys that are not familiar with Blender, Blender is a full transition studio. So we are actually using Blender right now this is going to be the book cover for the books. Now, you're not actually going to see this log cabin in the book cover, but we needed to make it look original. So we just built a log cabin around our actual scene, which is this Christmas tree with a nice demon on the tree, all the ornaments and things like this. So this is all done in Blender, and it is essentially a open source version of 3ds Max. And colleges need to start using these. So this is actually going to be the scene where we have the front of the book cover here. We have our binding is going to be somewhere around here. Back of the cover's over here. I got to get some fire in this fireplace, and we're actually going to hang portraits of ourselves on the wall. So there's a little bit I'm doing here. But this is the thing. We need to start utilizing these tools and teaching people about things. Now, of course, they're going with Krita instead of GIMP, which is okay. Hey, it's still open source. That's cool. But at the same token, this is good. So let's go ahead and read this. Not so uncommon for educational institutions to adopt free software in its programs. But last month, Krita's website was taken down by curious minds of the internet. Hundreds of comments were posted in various crazy forums. Crazy theories evolved, and old myths about free software had to go to curious minds of the internet in a giant progressive feedback loop. So the Art of News and Technology Image Department at Paris 8 University switching to Krita, Blender, and Natron caused quite a stir in CG communities around the world. Some discussions were quite fun to read. It's like they're short of cash and trying to make virtue out of necessity. Which I don't think is a fair thing. The reality is, if you know how to use these software applications, they work really well.
Yes.
Right. So, Ricky, have you used any of these? Blender, Krita? I'm not sure what Natron is.
I've used I used to use Blender a long time ago. I only made like one little intro and that's it. And it was the original intro for my YouTube channel videos. But since last year I dropped the intro because I feel like I don't need an intro for my videos anymore. I just take whenever I'm done recording my video, I just upload it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Was GIMP on this list? That's pretty much all I've used.
It's not. Krita is kind of like it's GIMP.
Yeah.
Now, Krita is better support if you are using like a drawing pad, like a Wacom tablet. Krita has better support, although GIMP 2.10 added a ton of extra support for those tablets. But Krita is awesome for that.
I want to try using Blender. I haven't used it before. How hard is it to use?
Oh, it's hard.
I would, in my opinion, Quint, if you want to start using it, my advice would be look up some YouTube videos about it first, get familiar with the controls and stuff, then give it a shot.
Yeah.
Oh, I figured out what was wrong with all my packages on Fedora. I just had to update.
Oh, really?
Okay. Freezed it, I guess. Yeah, now I'm on Chromium 69 again.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you probably didn't hear this, Ricky, but what happened is I upgraded to Fedora 29 and all the package versions were old. Like I was on Chromium 69 before on 28, and when I upgraded, I was on Chromium 68.
Did you have to do sudo DNF upgrade?
Yeah, I just ran an upgrade, yeah.
Okay, good. So all the repos are good now.
But I don't know why that happened.
Whenever I used Fedora in the past, I don't think I've ever had that problem. I
assume they probably just freeze the repositories.
Yeah, that could be the problem because with Fedora 28 with Fedora 28, which is the only version of Fedora I ever used, well, alongside a very, very old version of Fedora that I still have somewhere in one of my CD areas. But anyway, I don't think I've ever had the update problem because I'm very good at updating the repository. I mean, whenever I install a distro, it's update. That's it.
I don't know. I did update right after, but to fix that issue, but I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is they probably just freeze the repository like a while ago, and then they forgot to unfreeze it until like a few days before the update.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Quint, check this out.
Hold on, let me see. Cool.
This is a Dell Inspiron 2200.
Yeah. That's got to be really old.
Yeah, I know. My grandparents used to have an old Dell Inspiron.
Well, I looked on the hard drive, and the hard drive dates back to May of 2005.
That's a while.
Well, I was 1 when that computer was around.
There you go. All right. So, yeah, I mean, to answer your question, yeah, Blender is going to be difficult, but at the same time, it's worth learning if you have a need to learn that type of software. I did it. I learned how to use it because doing the book covers. Of course, the book covers in 3D are way cooler than basic 2D. I also use it for my intro. I use it for my top 5 transition slides for the channel. So those are all done. Those are all built out in Blender. And so it's good that there are more universities are doing this. And some people, of course, think, oh, they must be strapped for cash. Well, yeah, maybe we're just sick of the corporatocracy of forcing everybody to learn these. Because the reality is, if you know how to use Blender, you can pick up 3ds Max and vice versa.
Hi, Daniel.
Hey, Dan. How's it going there?
In the house.
Looks like this was the time to jump on, huh? All right.
I've been jumping around more like it. Oh, I've been fine.
So I haven't tried your script yet. I keep forgetting.
But did you? When you get a chance, look at it before you try it.
I looked at it, but I haven't tried.
I did find out some more information. It seems
the main issue is because I don't know where the charger is for my laptop that has Ubuntu on it.
Yeah, actually the stuff in that script should work on any Linux distro.
But my Fedora computer doesn't have an SSD in it, so that's why I don't want to run it.
Oh, okay. If you do run that script, the first thing it'll do is it'll either return a 1 or a 0, and I think the 0 is for an SSD and the 1's for an HDD, and it gives you the option to drop out there if it doesn't match.
Okay.
Hey Dan, there was an article we were just looking at briefly that looked at a university starting to use Blender, Krita, and other open source applications instead of the paid versions. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's great. Blender's like they make it for Windows, they make it for Linux. I think they make a Mac version too.
Most of the tutorials I watch are Mac.
Blender is kind of like almost a gold standard now in kind of 3D imaging.
My brother is actually an expert in the 3D animation software. He says you can do everything in it. But the thing he does not like about it is that it feels like it's built by a programmer, not a UI guy. And since he was officially trained in school as a UI guy, he has a hard time with it. But he's like, if I had to, I can do it. It's just not as easy as 3ds Max. So what he ends up doing is, I can't remember if he ended up getting a license for that or if he uses a student one to build stuff out and then sends it out to a friend with an actual license to finalize it and then sends it back. I forget what he does, but fortunately he's got a lot of connections in the gaming world, so
Honestly, I wish my school used more open source software. We don't really. I guess the only thing we use is GIMP for art class, but that's it. No other open source.
My little icon with the D and that little icon I have with the D in the box.
Yeah,
I actually made that with Krita, and it was an accident.
Oh, really? How do you accidentally make a logo like this? I mean, I'm curious. Minds want to know.
What happened was I opened up a text box, and it made a box to write text in, and I hit a D, and it went in the box. And I accidentally grabbed it and tilted it. And then I found out how to work the colors to change the coloring for the stuff inside the box and the border of the box. Now, I did this a while ago, so my instructions here are kind of sketchy, but that's basically what happened. Is I clicked on the thing to put text on the screen. It made a box to put the text in. I hit a large D, and somehow I grabbed the box and tilted it.
Wow.
And then I just added color.
Nice.
A couple years ago, from what I remember, when Dell wasn't doing so well, and I don't know if you knew this, Tom, Michael Dell, the original founder of Dell, around 2011, 2012, he threw a leverage buyout to rebuy his company. He took them off the stock market, and officially to this day, Dell is a private company again.
Yeah. I remember that.
But as far as the Krita goes, my cousin and his daughter and stuff like that, they use that kind of stuff on tablets that they draw with their fingers on. And they do a lot of free-handed art with it. And they really love this stuff. They really love that software package and ones like it.
Okay, so Vid Sermon is a new guy. He asked what video to look at, and I have about 1,000, so I asked him for what's he looking for. So he responded here. Thanks for the answer. Mainly, I'm interested in switching to a more security/privacy conscious lifestyle. Also, do you have any videos that explain how Linux works on a low level? Okay, first, if you want to learn more about living on a security/privacy conscious lifestyle, go to TechLore's channel and watch his new Incognito course that is rolling out right now. Absolutely awesome stuff. So take a look at TechLore's channel for the Incognito. As far as for me, I have a lot of different videos for a device. I have 2 videos that are called go into my video archive. Let me just pull up my video archive here. Let's do
Oh, Tom, speaking of TechLore, I thought you were going to do the TechLore competition today.
Yeah, he was sick this week, so we postponed it.
I was looking at all his videos. They're outstandingly well done.
He is an amazing content creator, so definitely check his stuff out.
I haven't watched any of his videos. I don't think I've ever even seen his channel.
When he gets into a subject about privacy and security, he's really detailed on what he's telling you. And you actually have to watch the lesson 2 or 3 times to absorb it all.
Yeah. Where did my thing go? There it is. All right. Okay, so if you this is for Vig Sermon. So if you come to my channel and do the search for a phone device, take a look at these 2 videos here. This actually walks you step through step live how I wiped the Google off this device, put lineageOS, and got the entire phone working without any Google services.
There's just one thing about Lineage that people need to know.
Yes, don't update it around, starting around February. Don't push any updates until May. Don't.
Yeah.
Because the reason why is Lineage doesn't realize that people in the production environment actually run their software, and they like pulling April Fool's pranks, which is so inappropriate. I stopped using Lineage for a while. I went to Copperhead for a bit, but then Copperhead went defunct, and there were some other issues, so I moved back to Lineage.
I remember they did that, and they had to like send an apology out.
Yeah, because the last one they did, like some of them have just been kind of funny but inappropriate, like maxing out your volume and putting goat noises on. So literally, even if you had your device volume turned off, your phone would goat noise, you know, really loud on anything. And that was inappropriate but benign. What they did last year, though, was they literally put up a little pop-up alerting you that your phone had a cryptocurrency virus. And when you start doing that kind of stuff, it's bad. So, I don't know.
This tablet right here, I put Lineage on this old Samsung tablet here.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm.
I was only to get Lineage 14 on here. They haven't. There's no Oreo build for this, but I think I'll take your advice.
Yeah, just don't update it around February. Do the last push the last updates. All right, so that's kind of privacy security. Also, Tails is the most private distro. So you look at the Tails videos to learn how to use Tails, and that's great. Techlore always he carries a little USB key with him on his keychain, which runs Tails. Basically, this is the best way, hands down, to run the Tor network on a computer because everything runs through Tor, and so. That's another one. I do still have to update my cubes stuff, but there's basically how to do some cube stuff. I'm going to be doing more with cubes down the road with Cubes 4. I want to get a capture card first to make better videos because those videos really were not good quality.
Yeah.
Let's see, other privacy and security, and then maybe just catch the Friday night news where I talk privacy stuff, and then a lot of my stuff's just lot of my stuff on the channel is just privacy focused. So you can look at my top 5 privacy smartphone tips. Now these cover any smartphones, no matter if it's Lineage or whatever else. Here's online privacy tips. So there's a lot of stuff on the channel. So just head up, search for keywords on the channel, and I think that's your best way to go.
Tom, Pizza said, imagine if I had Lineage installed and suddenly while I'm in class my phone starts making goat noises at full volume. Then I get in trouble.
Oh my lord.
And that's exactly what happened, and people got mad at that, but they just wouldn't stop.
There's a game called Goat Simulator.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of goat noises too.
Yeah, I've played that game before.
It was for a long time. It was a popular cell phone game.
It's pretty fun, I'll tell you that.
Well, now it's in the Steam library.
Oh, is it on Steam now?
Yeah.
I actually have it on this tablet. But the battery, since it's so old, like I'll be playing it for like 30 minutes, battery's dead.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that Lineage has lasted this long and they have not defunct. I'm actually surprised.
Yeah, yeah. Peter says, Tom is so conservative on his desktop. Don't change anything. Yeah, and the reason I am, and I use my media PC over here to experiment with different setups. What I have found is that the layout of Linux Mint Cinnamon is exactly perfect for my productivity. I have experimented with a variety of other things. Nothing else comes close to the productivity level.
Mm-hmm.
It was easy for me to go from Mint Cinnamon, which I used for a better part of 6 to 8 months, to Ubuntu Mate set up in the Redmond configuration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're going to be very similar. And the same thing, I mean, that's why my Peppermint's set up the same way. I mean, it doesn't have to be Cinnamon.
I'm not writing books and running a business out of it either. I'm just doing gaming and talking to you guys, and actually it's a waste of the kind of machine I got.
Yeah, Mark Gates says, since Linux Mint 19, things have been downhill. I actually think that's because the Ubuntu 1804 core was bad. I think that's why Linux Mint 19 was not very good. And that's exactly why I'm not recommending people upgrade from 18.3 to 19 unless there's a specific reason to. I think that the Ubuntu core was bad.
I think the 1810 core was okay. I mean, to me, the 1810 core was much better. I say if you want to switch over to Linux Mint, I say wait till it gets the 1810 core.
The sad thing is Linux Mint's not going to have 1810 core because they stay on the LTS.
Okay, here's an issue from going from 1804 backwards from the older versions. What happened with 1804 is I'm experiencing that Ubuntu wants to go to mostly synaptic packages. And the issue with this is they do not play very well at all with deb packages. And you install the wrong deb package, you get an older library file or dependency, and it just breaks the installer and the updater. And I've had to repair it twice because of this situation. But luckily, I was able to find enough information on the internet after playing with it for a couple of hours to actually repair it.
Here, I found Goat Simulator on this tablet.
Oh boy! All right. Let's go. Let's hear some goats, man. Let's hear some goats.
Here, I just opened it. Here we go. Here's some Goat Simulator for you guys.
Wait for it.
Yeah, wait for it. It's still booting.
Here, let's see if we can play some goat noises. This tablet's probably going to die, though.
Wow.
Here's a goat right here.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, we see that.
Here, I could just break a bunch of stuff.
Make that thing eat a tin can. By the way, unless you are in Norway, you do not have to worry about the Norwegian goat boy because he can't get through the metal detectors. He's eaten too many tin cans.
Oh, there's a thing on this game where you can basically change. There's like track being worked on, like a train track being worked on, and you can change the signal to go the other way so the train completely derails. Yeah. It's so funny.
Okay, Benjamin Eldridge asks, who is on the live chat?
Well, Simulator.
We have Ashton on, but his mic doesn't work, so you can't hear him. We can see him, and he throws in some chat every now and again. We have Daniel, we have Quint, and we have Ricky, and we have this crazy psycho here. You know,
called the host.
Well, here's the thing. When it's Friday Night News, he's called the Fire Master.
We're fired. Yeah, I need to turn the mic down a little bit because I redlined way too much on that one last night.
Yeah, I think people from Florida could hear that.
Probably.
Do your neighbors get mad at you?
We actually, like, the other place I lived in, they could hear me, and it was not good. I would hear pow, pow, pow on the wall. These here, we actually have about 7 to 10 inches of concrete. We can't hear nothing. I can hear the neighbor's TV if I'm in the downstairs bathroom because he's 90 and it's cranked up on max, and I can barely hear it. So, yeah, they can't hear me.
Well, that's good for you.
Yes, so I can get all loud as I want and nobody cares. It will take someone to sue the school/education department for fraudulently signing a child up to EULAs and TOS for something to change. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. And I think that that's what should happen. I think we should. We should start suing the schools and stuff.
I mean, literally, our education system is just so bad. I mean, it wasn't as bad as when it was in my generation growing up, but over the last 20 to 30 years, it's just gotten bad.
Mm-hmm. I am so glad that when I was in school, we didn't have email. I mean, we didn't have services. We didn't have, I mean, we got internet in one computer lab in my senior year in high school, I think.
Well,
well, you know, even the entertainers like Grace Slick came right out and said right in her book that public education from the 50s, 60s, and 70s is the best that was ever to be had. After that, it just kind of went downhill.
Yeah, I think it was still pretty good when I was in school, for sure. But yeah, more recent, like when I was a college professor, it was getting really bad, and it was an attitude of students. It wasn't as much the professors. The professors were more frustrated. We were being told a lot of things what to teach. We were being told, like, I have horror stories, and I wasn't a professor for long, right? So we go in, and I remember this one time I really highly focused on teaching people to use spreadsheets. So, of course, we used Excel and things like that. So I'm like, all right, you have to know how to use spreadsheets. And I had these arrogant students who are like, I'm going to be a zoologist living with monkeys out there in wherever and doing all this stuff. I said, look there, I said, lady, you're going to be doing so many spreadsheets. Like, well, how do you know? Because I have a doctor's degree in the same type of stuff, and I have published over 3,000 spreadsheets in my time in college, right, in grad school. Like, if I could show you my list of grad school spreadsheets, we literally were doing multiple experiments a week, multiply that by 6 years, multiply that by a spreadsheet per each one, and then extras. Spreadsheets are important, and we couldn't get this to these kids that, yeah, if you're in any form of science, you have to know how to use spreadsheets. Yeah, you're going to keep track of those monkeys on spreadsheets. Trust me. Or even worse, access databases.
How long were you a professor?
I think three years, I think. And not including the TAing in grad school. So, of course, you do that to help pay for your bills.
You know,
and then
it's not just the issue with the paper, the math, the spreadsheets, and all that. Mm-hmm. My era of schooling was we actually taught skilled trades. The school had an auto shop, a wood shop, drafting, because it was before computers. And all these things you could go out into the world and do and have a skill to do them with, you know, and you knew hardware from the hardware store really well when you left high school. And they've just weeded all that stuff out and replaced it with a public pool.
Yeah, well, it's core curricula, it's theory, and it's zero practicality. It's to the point where even when I was in school, you could leave school and not know how to balance a checkbook, not know how to cook a meal, not know how to change the oil in your car, all these things. And this is the funny thing. So I have a friend who's like, yeah, I might want to learn about cars. So he signed up for an auto mechanic shop. Okay, he has not touched a car yet. They have not done anything regarding auto mechanics yet. It is almost done with the first quarter of school.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I'm going to take you out and we're going to change your oil and we're going to teach you how to change your brakes. We're going to teach you how to, like change an air filter maybe. Yeah, I mean, holy moly.
In my time, there was Auto Shop 1 and Auto Shop 2. And Auto Shop 1 dealt with the car, the transmission, and the body of the car and that portion of it. Auto Shop 2 dealt just with the engine.
Mm-hmm.
How to take one apart, measure all the pieces, scale out what you need to replace, and get this stuff to put it back together so it would run another 50,000 miles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Best raw photo editor for Linux. And you guys, there's a couple I know of. I just don't remember exactly what.
Best what editor?
Best raw photo editor.
Oh, I thought you said best rock photo editor.
No. I don't know any, sadly.
I know there's a few. Is Raw Therapy a Linux one? There's a few out there. I don't deal with raw photos as much. But there are a few. I just can't remember the names of them all.
I haven't. Anything I had to do in the past was with Photoshop before I switched to Linux.
Mm-hmm. Have a good night, pizza. Pizza.
Pizza. Later, pizza. Okay.
I'm off, Tom.
Hey, we'll see you
You're
later.
off.
All right, later.
Bye.
Later.
Bye-bye, Quinn.
Oh, nice. Ashton is running Manjaro. Good job.
All right,
So
yeah, Raw Therapy is what I was thinking of. So that is a cross-platform Linux, Windows, Mac OS, full free and open source application. So it was Raw Therapy I was thinking of. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one.
Yeah. Oh well, what do you know? Toss just went live.
Hey.
He's been trying to for about half an hour.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Spatry was on when I first started. I didn't know he was on, and then Big
I
Daddy
was
Linux was
gaming
on.
with him.
Oh, were you? Okay.
Yeah, he had a game. He has game night on Saturday night, and since Toss was like kind of iffy about his, whether he'd be on or not on Saturday night, we decided to actually do a game night with Spatry, and it's been doing very well, for a handful of guys.
Cool, very good. Jay the Minimalist, I don't remember seeing you before. Welcome, and it is great to have another minimalist on here. I am one of those myself, except for my office.
Welcome, Jay the Minimalist.
Okay, so, and pardon if you are not new, it's just I don't remember seeing your name before. Just recently switched to Linux, been using Windows since Windows 95, using Ubuntu 18.04 LTS. Is Ubuntu a good OS? I have always liked Mint, but there is something about Ubuntu I like. If it is serving your needs, then yes, I think Ubuntu is a good OS. It is why it is the #1 distro that has derivatives based on it, unless you're including its parent Debian. Mm-hmm. But yes, Ubuntu is very good. It is a respectable distribution, and if it's working for you and there's something about it that you like, I just keep using it. If you like it, use it.
I mean, if you look at the education department, not many schools do this, but the education department is starting to use Linux for education purposes.
That's good.
It's called budget cutting.
Mm-hmm.
We can't afford Windows anymore. Let's see what's free.
Yeah, there you go.
Look what Apple did in its day. Mac was amazing in that era. Every school you see, they had Apple. It's in the computers in their computer labs.
Yep,
and it was the most expensive.
Yes, and I think that's the only reason Apple is still alive now, because of all of these kids who grew up on Apple. They know who it was, and they had wonderful, good feelings of their past.
Doesn't Apple still control a percentage of the education market?
Not as much. Like, there's the old high school I went to. They are now requiring iPads in their system, but many schools now it's either Microsoft or Google. It's not the other ones as much. So there's some here and there. Let's see. Yeah, John Clyde says, I'm hoping to remove Google from my life soon, even though, despite my parents saying it's a bad idea to remove Google from my phone. I don't think it's a bad idea to remove Google from your phone.
If you want to remove Google, go for it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I mean, there's other options than Lineage. I mean, there's other little ROMs out there. They're just not as well known.
Yeah, niche stuff that's people put together.
Okay. The key to learning, school, etc., is to understand the main concepts of how software works, not how to use one specific proprietary program. I agree. That's a good approach.
Yes, that would be a great approach.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got.
Well, you can't really continue to use Windows if it's going to delete all the students' files.
Yeah, that is a problem.
That's
It is.
I mean, the thing about Windows 10, it never did that before. This error did not even occur until the recent update.
Yeah, and then it updated twice.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go over this real quick. For the one before this one, it pretty much wiped files in certain areas. This next one, it wipes even more stuff.
The way I understood it, it took a zip file and whatever was zipped up in it, it took it out and left just the zip container.
That's exciting. But if you had all your documents backed up on OneDrive, it wasn't a problem. It wouldn't. I mean, you could get them back. See, this was just a big ploy to sell OneDrive. I know it. Where's my hat? I need my hat.
Oh, what do you know? Tim F is back. Finally, at
Tim
long
F.
last.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Paint.net at school. Oh boy.
Hopefully he's doing good.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
check Blender conference 18 on. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, Tim F was on Toss's morning show in the chat on the side, the text chat. I guess he's doing better, I guess. And we're glad to have him back.
Okay. See if there's any other comments here. Maybe we'll wrap it up and we can raid Toss's stream, I guess.
Well,
Is the weather kind of bad where you're at?
I don't know. My blinds are closed. It was really windy today.
For about 3 days of rain and cloudiness and ugliness, we finally got a day of sunshine here today.
Well, over the past few days over here in Florida, there's actually been a nice, cool breeze running through. It's been very nice this evening.
And it looks like most of Tom's rain and misery has left his state. He's just got a few little patchy things.
It was really, like, it wasn't too bad today other than the wind, and then it was, I think it was really nice yesterday. It was, like, almost hot yesterday, and then it got rainy late last night. So.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think I'm going to get off here. I think I'm going to go raid Toss the stream a little early, so I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, I think that's what we should do. Let's go ahead and...
Sound like a plan?
Yeah, and I'm not sure... I guess I can probably jump on. If he's still on over there.
Yeah, he's still on.
Yep. So, sorry if I didn't get to your comment, guys. Dark Table's another one for raw photos as well, I believe.
Toss just started within the last 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and go raid Toss's stream. So, okay, so Frost Ranger of the Frozen Realm threw up Toss's stream, so go take a look at Toss's stream. Of course, if by clicking on that you agree to the terms of service.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. So thanks for hanging out, guys, and we will catch you later.
All right, Tom. Thanks for having us.
Yep. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you later, and we'll do another live one eventually.
Yep.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.